What's cooking, folks? Vermillion Phoenix here, and today we are jumping into some more Orcs Must Die Unchained. This time we will be visiting the Confluence, and we're going to do this as midnight, and I haven't actually done this with her at all yet, which will be really nice because I actually get to pick up a hero chest. And Confluence can be done quite a few different ways that I think are somewhat interesting, but I think the way that I prefer doing it will be a split lane method, and I like having these guys path forward. I sometimes do it the other way, but it's a lot easier to have these guys go around and into a kill box by the harbor than it is to just let these guys path around. Mainly because you get access to walls, floors, and ceilings here, and there's a lot of no ceilings around this particular stretch. So, let's see. There's a lot of fire minions here. Not too many that the Firewall Bracers wouldn't be useful though. Ring of Storms. I'm going to take Stablehand, and I guess you get the Rum Rudder or the Deckhand over here. Deckhand is really good if you're going for combo points, because each one of his attacks, I believe, has the opportunity to add a combo point to the enemies that you're fighting. So he can add like 2 to 3 points by himself, in addition to actually no, I think it's like maybe 3 or 4 if you can get just the right situation set up. I might be wrong on that though. But anyway, we're tossing in the bear hugs, taking Big Spender just for the extra cash. I'm not using a lot of lightning traps. When I'm going solo, I like using the swinging mace. You can also use the overload trap if you want to use a lot of wall traps here, which is pretty solid. Actually, let me show the overload trap build. Just because it's something that helps a lot of people out when you're doing things like Chaos Trials. And not many people are familiar with what to do with it, so here is what it will look like. The Chaos Overload Trap uses Smashing Deals as it does physical damage, and if you're using choked on like just trying to breathe there. If you're using the Overload Trap, you'll get some bonus damage out of it, which would be really nice, but it works about as effectively as the Swinging Mace, just doesn't trigger as often. If you can get enemies grouped up, which should be relatively easy to do, then it should still be pretty nice. And we're going to use a regular Barricade here just because there are some really weird corners that you can catch enemies on, which will help out. Either way, let's get this started. Now,
I'll hunt them down.
Here we go. It is completely possible
Building a better mouse, or trap.
that if you do not want to...
Ooh, wow, gotta watch my teeth.
That is wrong.
If I were them, I'd tread
That should be it.
lightly.
Although it'd probably be better to move this one back a bit.
Useful.
It is entirely possible to swap out the arrow wall, which really won't be dealing that much damage here, for a web spinner. The web spinner will slow enemies much more significantly than what I have here. If you don't want to have to worry about any enemies deactivating traps, then the web spinner is probably a better choice than using Viscous tar for slow here. But you can still do it something like this.
Lure them here. Sleep. This will stop them.
And here we're going to toss our Deckhand. Over here we let the Stablehand chill out. Even though you probably could bring a Rum Rudder if you have them, Stablehand slow just makes it a lot easier to handle groups. Almost killed myself there. Nice. So the important thing to remember when you're using the overload trap is that anything that is outside of the damage area is safe from being deactivated. So that's what you'll have to pay the most attention to. Alright, come and get it. Right about, yep, here. Okay, I think that should be the range. Alright, and we're only going to put 3 here because I need to put the rest on the other side. And once you get outside of the range there, you can actually start placing your tar again. But the goal is really to keep the enemies condensed before and after they get out of here. I guess I can go set up the Firewall and Lightning Ring again. And now we get our second slow. Okay, cool. So we keep them burnt, and that keeps us happy. And of course, any additional DPS that you need can be supplemented by things like Ballista, either Dragon Lances or Ceiling Ballista. You also have room to place big game hunting arrow walls or big game hunting ballistas in here too. So, oh no, these are a little too close. Okay. We'll have to move these back just in front of this. Wait, is it just the rear ones that trigger? Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, it's because this area is slanted. Alright, got it. Okay. Got the samurai armor. That will give me a bit of extra survivability. So that was where it, there we go.
They summoned the boss minion.
They did.
I always know how to.
Carefully set.
So we dropped the ballistas. Those will take out the majority of things here.
The enemy's boss is down.
And then we get to go duplicate this kill box on the other side in just a moment. And of course we gotta take out this big guy. Alright, no problems.
Our enemies, they're breaking through again.
That's on pause for now. I can taste their
Alright, so you
blood.
want to block that off to prevent any enemies from going around the other way. And then back here,
Carefully set.
you can make sure that you get to use the walls.
Will be their end.
And then you do something similar. That moving it back a space gives you the ability
They're taking collateral damage.
to use the trappable area over here for a few floor traps if you want. They got a boo-boo. That's nice. I should not have placed that there. I actually wanted to place that on the other side in front, but that may work. Yeah, they're far enough. Okay. Guess I can place another one right here anyway. Now, these corners up here, or I should say these little ledges, the overhangs, won't support full wall traps, but they will hold a few ballistas. So, if you want to have some ballista up there for some bonus damage, you can do that. Works perfectly fine.
An unstable rift is opening. Quick, destroy it.
That's around the corner.
Well done. The unstable rift has been destroyed.
And what I'll probably wind up doing is just to kill these guys a bit quicker. I'll place a few ballista up there and maybe a floor scorcher just to add a bit of extra damage. Of course, I'll want to place a few things back here anyway just to deal with this gate a little bit easier. Nothing crazy is going to come out of it. So I don't think you guys could see that because of the graphical glitch that just happened, but I used Midnight's Vital Strike on that ogre. There's a lot of issues still with animation canceling, and I'm not sure exactly where it's coming from, but it seems to cause issues where you get locked out of being able to input anything, and could be rooted in why characters like Hogarth feel really difficult to use. I've had some situations where like the animation for Hogarth's axe throw was canceled and did not register, but it prevents me from being able to do anything while playing. And once I can actually sort of duplicate that somewhat reliably, I'll probably report it. And now we get to see how well the kill box on the other side holds itself up alone as well. And it looks like it did perfectly fine. I could probably go toss a few more things over there, but don't think it'll be necessary.
Let them come.
I did not mean to place that there. Great.
This will stop them. Lure them here.
I'll put that there, and then we'll let these guys go through.
They've broken through a gate.
So the only enemies that are going directly to the Guardian seem to be the ones that can leap over barricades. The other ones still get slowed a bit. And it didn't kill me. Thank you. Okay, now I can finally sell this. Only this gate is open.
Building a better mouse.
Can do that, and probably place a firewall right here. Alright, and that looks to be a Knoll that's just going to go throw himself at the rift for me, which is great. Thank you for not causing me any trouble. Grabbing Thriller to kill again, just so that if I happen to get in any sticky situations, I can try to fight my way out.
Ooh, wow, gotta watch my too.
Okay, so with those closed, we can now go revisit the other side. And I guess it's okay for me to like put these Ballista back over here. So, if I remember correctly, I think the way that the Guardian works is that because some of his attacks have the ability to add a combo point, and they would naturally add one, that's still Holmes. He can actually add something like 2 combo points per shot, which is why you saw some enemies going from like 5 to 7.
Get to it and destroy it. And our heroes destroyed the unstable rift, and there was much rejoicing.
Alright, you can follow me if you want. Alright, then we get a few Ballista. Nope. Get a few Ballista up here in the corner, and we should be golden. Thought we could probably do that too.
Useful.
They will not reach the reef.
They really seem to love going around the back. Okay.
They will not pass. Beware, intruder.
You can pretty much see the spaces in the groupings where the traps like are able to deal with large groups of enemies at once because they fire, and then the groups that get through because the traps were all on cooldown.
Boss defeated.
I should say the large spaces, and then the sort of nested groups that get through. I could probably... Oh no, that won't hold the trap. Alright, fine. Alright, just about done here.
Let them come.
Though I may miss the 5-star. I think I'm going a bit slow. You can see through the kill pretty much giving me a consistent source of life gain here though. So in the event that you are in the middle of something that seems to be depriving you of health, then it's not a bad hero to take, although you will want to use some sort of additional XP gain method such as siphons or vanity plating to try to level up a bit quicker.
I must concentrate.
Alright. I've got about a minute 15 seconds left. That may be enough to actually hit the 5 stars just in time with the revised times.
I always know how to take it easy.
Is he really
The boss minion is down.
trying to drain the Guardian's health from that far away? Seems ridiculous. Alright, this area is fine. And we can finally finish with
This will be
a couple more ballistas here. I'm going to head to the area in the back and take out as many of these as possible to try to hit par. Got about 20 seconds. Back up a little bit so we can make sure the firewall's in place. So the last thing you want to have to do here is chase kobolds. And we're done.
They were weak.
Now, that's a pretty horrible score for Confluence. But trap damage wasn't that great either. But the enemies don't really have that much HP for the trap damage to get ridiculous here. But again, you know, Midnight, if you can stay away from the Cyclops mages, which are a pretty solid threat, since once their projectiles are fired, you can't drop the aggro. I think that you may be able to drop it if you prowl during the animation, but I have to confirm that. I know that works with some other enemies, such as the Pride Hunter. If you prowl while he's trying to move up to you, he will turn around, but the attack animation may already signal the homing projectile. But that's enough of that. Confluence is completed, so we're going to move on to Frostbite, which I think is probably going to be the best case for Poison Paw as a Weaver. If you understand the way that the soldiers and the barbarians, because they're basically just ice elemental soldiers, their steady ability, the one that gives them their damage reduction, works. You'll know that multiple ticks of damage over time effectively eat through that and allows you to destroy them a lot quicker. So while you can't just one-shot them with something like Poison Paw, you should be able to whittle them down pretty quickly. But that'll be in the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and as always, sincerely appreciate it. Until next time, never